Hey, and welcome to the Conscious Creation Academy podcast. David Marshall here. Today we talk about aliens. It's such an interesting subject, particularly given the understanding that we create our own reality. You know, how does that intersect with the idea of aliens? And I know there are lots of people who are doing channeling, or there are lots of kind of conspiracy theorists and that type of thing. But actually, I think it's something completely different based on my exploration of ideas around the Seth material, multiple realities. Then I think aliens are 100% sure the idea of aliens is completely different to what we're thinking, because the idea of aliens is that we are in a physical, we're on a physical planet, we're floating in space, and that these aliens come from, different planets. But actually, that's not what we have here. This is not what I'm finding, and you will find out, that this environment is. It's a state of consciousness, like a dream. So if we go back to the idea of that, then what does that mean about aliens? So that's what we're going to explore. What it generally means, I think, is that it's that we're not experiencing aliens. What we're experiencing is other kind of versions of consciousness, of personalities, of souls, whatever you want to think of it, that kind of impinge into physical reality. So where our senses actually are able to tune into not aliens per se, the men in the little green green spaceships and all that kind of stuff. So the experiences I think that people have are obviously real to them, but if you accept that we create our own reality, if you accept that it's a state of consciousness, then actually it takes a very different kind of idea. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to just kind of open up, see what Arron had to say about that, and we will go from there. So welcome to the podcast. If you are interested in downloading my book, The Dream We Call Earth, go to thedreamwecallearth.com. There'll be a link in the description somewhere. There'll be the book and all the audios in there for you as well. And let's now see. I'm going to try and just relax. I'm not feeling 100% today, so I really hope I can do a good job for you. And I'm going to relax. The next voice that you will hear coming through after I kind of pause this will be Arron's, and then we will go from there. So hope you enjoy it. I've no idea what he's going to say after that. After Arron stops speaking, then I will come back and give you some feedback on my own experience. Okay, so the next voice you hear will be Arron, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Welcome to this exploration of consciousness, and thank you for the invitation to help you understand more about the nature of reality, the nature of consciousness, how it operates, how to other realities you are the aliens, of course. And within this reality, you also experience other forms of consciousness that are alien, different to your own. And you ascribe this to the idea of a physical reality where there is ups and downs and lefts and right, with the understanding that you form your own reality as you do a dream state of consciousness. The idea of aliens is relevant, of course, but it is not and cannot be categorized in the same way. It is impossible then, you see, to categorize other forms of consciousness as aliens from other planets without taking into account ideas of the simultaneous nature of time and action, without taking into account ideas around the nature of how reality itself is formed, how realities intersect with each other. All realities being states of consciousness and not physical environments. And in many states of consciousness, of course, the laws that you apply to yourself here, the local laws of physical reality, do not apply and may never even have been explored. They are unknown. And so when other personalities, other forms of consciousness turn their attention away from their own native state of consciousness toward your reality, toward the idea of your reality, and focus their attention, they impinge, their reality begins to translate itself into form that you experience, not its native form, but the form that you translate it into. And by doing so, it does not revolve, if you like, around the laws of physics in the way that you have interpreted them. And so here you have the laws of gravity, of mass. You have the laws that govern movement. These laws are self-created by you, and yet they apply to this reality only. And this is the key. These are local, self-created laws of reality that you apply through the way that your brain operates within this reality, and you form a reality that is congealed, if you will, within time and space. You have agreed to these laws. You have agreed to the way that this reality operates in order to give you the very real, challenging experience of life and death within an environment where you are forced to cooperate. And this is what you are exploring. Now, this is one room of the house of reality, if you will, and a valid, however small room. Within the house, the limitless house that is reality, there are limitless rooms with limitless laws. Within each room, there are rules that are govern the experience within the room. Now you can and do venture out of your room into other rooms. You experience other realities. You experience, in our analogy, maybe on the floor in which physical reality exists, other lifetimes that also exist within physical reality. The next floor below experiences time going backwards in your term, where there is no gravity, where thought creates events in very different ways. Now, of course, you are not limited because you are not native, and therefore you are all aliens, if you will. You are not native to the room in which you find yourself. This is but one experience. You venture, and your consciousness encapsulates more than one room simultaneously, and you are able to turn your attention to look through the walls, if you will, above and below, to the left and the right. And I'm not implying that one is higher or better or lower. We need to dispense with ideas that limit and create fear and unconscious objections to venturing beyond the five senses in which you find yourself. Now imagine a house with limitless rooms, each room with its own laws, each room where you may venture and say, yes, I choose this experience for myself, for a period of learning. Now note that I did not say time, I said a period of learning, because there is no time within this house. The corridors are free from time. There is only time in the rooms in which you choose there to be time. When you venture outside, you are back into the free-flowing experience outside of time, outside of objective space. And in your terms, when you have done your learning and you choose to leave the room in which you find yourself, you will venture into other rooms. Now, each one can be called alien to the other. Each consciousness applying different rules of experience within each room Given that your consciousness exists and extends beyond the room in which you find yourself, then when you turn your attention with enough intention to another room, consciously or unconsciously, you would be viewed as the alien. Because the impression that you express into that reality can only be translated by the rules of the room itself. And therefore, you are all, to some degree, aliens. In that sense, we now have to talk about how you create your own reality. If you believe in aliens, of course you will attract events that appear to come from aliens. You will translate it, if you believe in time and space, in ways that translate the information in that way. If you believe in conspiracy theories, you will translate events, literally create brand new connections and events. And you will say, this is a conspiracy theory. Remember, I said a conspiracy theory. You have connected them all into one event, like a jigsaw puzzle. You look at the jigsaw puzzle on the table that tells you of aliens, of lies and governments, of deception. But the rule that you apply to these is that you are a victim to these events. If you think about conspiracy theories, you are essentially saying, I do not have power over my life and my events. Now, these are compelling lies that you are telling yourself. And they appear real, and you will attract other people that agree with you. This is the nature of consciousness. The electromagnetic nature of emotions and thought will be consciously and unconsciously picked up and attracted to and from other people that agree with you. Now, this does not mean that it is correct when you understand that reality is a state of consciousness. Each event is happening simultaneously at the same time, within the same moment. Then there is no a conspiracy theory. There is your creation. Now, if you believe that there is space between the planets within your state of consciousness, and I will assure you, my friend, that there is not, you can believe that there are aliens circling the planet. You will find evidence to reassure you of your victimhood. But I can assure you, as you develop your understanding of the nature of reality, as you begin to understand more about how your senses form the reality in which you find yourself, and you can wait until death to discover these treats if you wish, but you do not have to, you will discover that you create the reality in which you form your experience just as you do, in similar terms, as a dream, a state of internal consciousness. Just as science is discovering that the energy between objects is as real as the objects itself, and that is because it is an illusionary space. And therefore there are no aliens hovering above the planet that you think of, because there is no planet in the way that you think of it. And so relax. Let go of the theories. Recognize that reality is multidimensional and you are as much an alien as any other form of consciousness. You believe to some degree, or you would not be listening to this, in the law of attraction, that your thoughts attract events. Well, apply this to the conspiracy theories, to the ideas of aliens. Your thoughts attract the experiences. The more you believe within the conspiracy theory that you ascribe, the more powerful and more potent your victimhood becomes. And you say, I cannot fight against the galactic nature, the armies of the galaxy that are coming towards us from other planets. But you form your reality. Now, I am not saying that the objects that you perceive as your planets are not themselves consciousness with life, and that in another reality, these consciousness that you observe as planets are not teeming within the reality that they originate with life in inverted commas. But I am saying that you form your own reality. And once you are aware and you embrace that concept, you will see that all other concepts of victimhood, of conspiracy theories, although I must say the governments within your reality are poor and make poor decisions, but they do not have the information that you have. That you are part of a unity of consciousness, a collection of souls forming your own reality for your own benefit, inhabiting rooms of self-created conscious realities for your own benefits. And so to summarize, you are all aliens, even if you take into account your scientific ideas as limited as they are. You all came from the stars. Although this is obviously, as I have explained, a limited, poor description, because you originate outside of physical reality. You do not originate from in it. Therefore, you are definitely aliens. So my lesson to you here is, do not be a victim. The second lesson is to understand that reality is formed outside of the physical experience you have. And the third lesson is that you form your own reality as surely as you form a dream. And therefore your concepts, your unchallenged concepts of time and space, cause you to lie to yourself about your identity, your potential, and the origins of the reality in which you find yourself, which exists within a beautiful, spacious present, created by the alien that is you. I wish you a fond good afternoon. And wish you the best on your explorations. Okay, so I've just had a couple of minutes out just to reorientate myself. Hope you found that interesting. That was about 17 minutes, so I can say. Certainly didn't feel like it. It's really interesting to experience my experience of kind of tuning out my own identity and engaging with another identity, and then allowing information to come from outside of my what I would regard as my reality, if you like, is really interesting. I certainly don't feel like myself, and certainly my awareness and my experience of the words excuse me, that Arron's saying is kind of experiencing what he's saying, but in emotional and kind of energetic terms. So it's really really interesting. So I'll go back and listen to that. But yeah, it's I think there was the analogy of the house type thing. So it's kind of interesting to me, of course, knowing that there are multiple realities, just to redefine that, in other realities, I would be the alien. So yeah. And of course, the other thing was the idea of not being a victim, because that is the implication, isn't it, of aliens often, is that we are a victim, that they're more powerful, they're more technological. But actually, that, I think, is an interesting thing to explore within oneself if one believes in aliens and that they're going to come and get us and all that kind of stuff. When you know that you form your own reality, of course, that's something you don't want to do, is, reduce your ability to create in quite literal terms as a conscious creator. So interesting stuff. I'm going to ponder that and listen to that a little bit later on myself. So I hope you found that enjoyable. If you have any questions, please do comment below. And of course, it's a very different version than other people channeling or not channeling. The version of this idea that there's a alien ship hovering around the the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. So although we experience and have an experience we call an atmosphere, actually there is no atmosphere. There is no space. It's self-created, like we do in a dream. So yeah. Whew. Anyway, 20 minutes that was there, and feel a bit spacey now. So I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee. And please comment below. Let me know what you think. Take care.